Welcome to the Sunday Roast, the show that overreacts to the weekend's footy, the show that roasts the losers and celebrates the winners, the show that will give you all the best odds of the weekend, the show that both our teams won this week, so we're happy as Larry. Yes. Joining me as always, Darcy Ballard. Dobe, how are you, my brother?
The best sort of roast of the roast when the Swans and the Blues win, Jev. Jeez, we had a couple of nice performances, did we not? The other games have been a little bit... they've been all right. Like, there's been nothing like... Actually, no, we did have one cracker. I'd put it up there for Game of the Year.
It was fucking awesome.
We really need to make a folder of... We said we're going to do it at the start of the year, of, like, games of the year and like, rank, because that is...
Performances of the year.
Oh, fuck.
Next year, we'll have a ladder behind our shoulders, and we'll sort of just add stuff on a ladder. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, we need a board and just write shit just so we can refer back to. But, Jev, it's been good. Couple of nice matchups. The Bombers obviously just getting it done last night. It's good. Let's crack into it, Jev. Thursday night, you were obviously there. You went by yourself. Both of us went to the footy by ourselves this week.
I could not recommend it anymore. Let's go Thursday night. So went in by myself. The True Bloods, the Swans podcast, friends of ours, they had a little event on in just a function room at Marvel Stadium. They had Paddy McCartan, Tom Harley, and an old Swans legend, a guy that originally went up from South Melbourne to the Swans speak. Yep. And then it was on level 2, and there was doors to get out to the seats on level 2. I only had a general admission seat, and I just opened the door, just went out, sat level 2, and there wasn't anyone within 10 people that way, 10 people that way, 3 rows in front of me, 3 rows around. I just sat in the middle of level 2 by myself, just relaxed. It was amazing. It was like sitting at home on my couch, watching it by myself, but I was there watching it live. But it was all time. So the Swans get up. What did we end up winning by? 14 points, I think it was.
Yeah.
Swans, I'm just getting the AFL up now. So the Swans get up. They win by 14 points. Handle business. It was a good win. I feel a bit for the Dogs. The Dogs were very good, Das. They were very good. They got injured. In the first quarter, Ed Richards, watching him live in the midfield, he was as smooth. He's as King said, he's a dancer. He's got quick feet. He's a beautiful kick. Geez, they've found one in the midfield there. And I know Kane Corns has been harping on this for years. I don't know how the Dogs don't win more games or aren't constantly in the top 4. The talent they put on the park week in, week out. So they've got Norton Jamara, Sam Darcy, who's going to be all-time. They've got Bont, Treloar's who's in unreal form. Then they've found one with Ed Richards. They've got Tim English, an All-Australian ruckman. Then they've got Alex Keith and Liam Jones, who had a really good game with Bailey Dale off the half-back line. And now these young kids are coming on. They've got talent all over the park. I don't know how they're not pushing for top 4. I was just watching. I'm like, geez, they've got some talent on the park. But the Swans get it done. They handle business as always. Chad Warner-Das had an all-time performance. And just being there live, it was an all-timer. He should have kicked 5. He handballed that one to Taylor Adams in the goal square. That hanger he took was right in front of me where I was sitting on level 2, that half forward line, level 2. I just saw it happening. You know, when you're there, and because if you're a bit higher, in your periphery vision, you can see the kicker and you can see the pack as well. I saw him setting himself for it, and then he just flew him. I'm like, this is just unbelievable. And then there just isn't anyone in the league like him. I can't remember anyone like him. Does anyone, I want to know in the comments or anything, does anyone have a comparison to Chad Warner and what he does? And you and me, like the explosiveness, the speed, the tackle breaking, the sideway movement, and now the finishing and the goal sense. So he's like a rugby league player when he gets the ball, the way he takes on tackles, but now he's got a killer instinct around goal and finishing goals and dominating games. You can see he's done it 3 weeks in a row. He did it over at Freo. He's going to get 3 votes for that game. He kicked 3. Did it last week against the Blues. He just torched him. He kicked 3. And then he kicks 4 the other night or whatever, he kicked 3. And I reckon the only comparison right now is Isaac Rankin. I think they're the most similar players. Maybe Isaac's a bit better forward, but Chad's a bit better midfielder. But the way they're meshing together and coming together, it's sort of like they're the same players. But you and me text about this earlier in the week, like one all-time comparison that the only one we can come up with, and I'll let you talk about it a bit more because you know a bit more, is Jason Ackermanis.
Yeah, that was the only comparison we can come up with. because the goal sensibility and because you got a really good team around you as well. The only thing with Acker, I don't think that he started and could stop on a dime as good as Chad. Like Chad just goes, puts on the brakes, will step back, cut left, cut right. Why Acker, if he was almost even with you, he'd just burn you with his speed and just continue to run on. Chad does that as well. But now the goal finishing ability, like Acker was unbelievable on his, like he'd kick goals from 50 on his left or right. But the fact that Chad can just run forward now, he's one of the biggest threats. Like you can't just let him go forward now. Now you've got to go pick him up. You can't just be like, all right, well, fuck it. He's down there. We'll just keep looking at Logan, Amadi, McLean, Papley. Like if Heaney runs down there, Warner runs down there now, and he doesn't miss. He's such a good shot on goal. But Jev, I just want to quickly put this in now before I forget. We're not going to do the trade one because the trade came up with too many different possibilities. Start one, bench one, cut one. Heaney, Warner, Goulden. Go.
Ah, fuck. It is so hard. It is so fucking hard. If it's this year right now, it has to be start Isaac, bench Chad, cut Errol. If it's going into the future, it's cut Isaac. Probably start Chad, bench Errol. But Errol doesn't like going to the bench, does he? What, he played 97% game time on the weekend.
Apparently he was filthy that he came off. He just wants to do an Ed Langdon. Just sit over the other side if he has to, just to stay away from the bench.
Did you hear, I got a lot to say in this game. Did you hear his interview on SEN on Thursday with Gary and Tim?
No.
So it was so cool. And it's just something that now that he said it, I saw it. He goes out on the field. I recommend going and listen to it. Out on the field, they have those uncomfortable conversations in real time. So he goes, if you're on fire, you'll go up to the mids and say, get me the ball. I'm on fire. Give me the ball. Come on, boys. And all the boys start feeding me. If you haven't had a kick, you go up and just go, boys, I haven't had a kick this quarter. Can you guys get me the ball? Can we all get into it, sort of thing? And every player on the Swans has that license to say that to anyone. Or Errol will go, can I come to this centre bounce? I haven't had a kick for 10 minutes. This. And he's like, they're the conversation you don't have or you have during the week. He's like, we just started having them in real time. We just have those uncomfortable conversations no one has on the field, and it's just working. And then since he said it, now I can see it. Sometimes the boys give Errol the ball in average positions, but he's one of the best kicks in the comp. He makes it work, and it's like he's happy because he got a possession, he got the ball in his hands, sort of like Nick Dacos does. He just demands the ball. And then someone like Hayden McLean, if it's a feedback to Errol in a crappy position, it's like it's better than Hayden McLean kicking over his shoulder long. So, yeah, it's just there's so much about the Swans I'm loving at the moment. I'm trying to think of a nickname, and I'd love some help with anyone. So there's the 96 Bulls, and everyone's like, when the 96 Bulls came to town, it was the hottest ticket in town. And I was messaging the group chat like, no, I'm not going to footy training tonight. I'm going to see the 96 Bulls. The Swans are the best show in town right now. If they're in Melbourne, I'm just not missing them. And then when LeBron went to the Heat, they were called the Heatles, like the Beatles, the Heatles. If Elvis was in town, if the Beatles were in town, you could not miss it. Taylor Swift in the Eras Tour, you just could not miss that show. What's a nickname we can call the Swans that's fucking cool that they are the best show in town?
Just take them the Showtime Swans.
Yeah, the Showtime Swans, the Showtime Bloods. Yeah, that's a good nickname.
When the show comes to town, you got to go watch because they have so many superstars. I wish I wrote down this exact play, Jev, but Wicks tackled someone on the wing on the camera side. They give it to Goulden, and he kicks it directly across the ground over like 4 Bulldogs' heads to someone out in front. Then you guys get a goal from it.
Yeah.
He's the best kick in the comp.
He's the
nice. Best kick in the comp.
There's one other thing I've got written down my notes. I know we're probably going to spend a bit longer on this game and probably the Blues game because you're there, but it is what it is. So we've had Buddy Franklin for 10 years, Das. 10 fucking years. No premierships, right? And he was our highest paid player. Then you watch Collingwood win the flag last year with Brody Myercheck, then Bobby Hill, Ginnivan, Will Hoskin Elliott, Jamie Elliott, and stuff. And you're like, and then I just being there on the weekend. I know Aaron Norton got injured, right? But would you rather $1 million a year Aaron Norton, $1 million a year Jamara Ugle-Hagan, Sam Darcy that's going to be $1 million a year player? Or would you rather 80% of the production, but you've got McLean, Amadi, Logan McDonald, who none of them would even get paid, what, $400,000 a year? Probably yet. So we get all three of those for probably one Aaron Norton. And I was just there. I'm like, they do the same stuff. Yeah, Norton and Jamar probably have that sort of game-winning talent and can turn a game in a quarter. Could kick 5 in a quarter because they've got that extra talent. But then we spend our money on Errol, Chad, Isaac, Brodie Grundy, and the guys that get the ball to the forwards. And it doesn't matter how well you manned up on them. We get them the ball that way that it just works. So I was just there.
Bless you.
I was just there. I'm like, now that Buddy's gone and Buddy's the best player I've ever seen, but it's a new Swans. I'm like, now anyone just kicks the goal. Like, it's not about getting it to Big Bud and we build around Big Bud. It's like we use the ball so well that it's like we're so damaging when it gets inside 50. Anyone kicks the goal. So I was just food for thought, you know.
I think, yeah, it's definitely both ways because if you don't have as much money spending up forward, you can definitely spend more on defense and midfield, which your midfield is doing amazing. And then you can absolutely dominate sides and then that might win you a flag. Like you see the Pies do last year. Like they got a cheap day cost. They still had to go in and then they can just feed all the mouths and it's very unpredictable. But on the other way, you've got, I know Swans Bulldogs, they overpaid for Tom Boyd and stuff. And then you've just got this big fella on the biggest stage, whether your midfielders have a slight game on grand final day. And this guy just starts to turn on, Hawkins turns on. And you're just like, once the big fellas get going, sometimes you're like, fuck. True. Like remember Buddy against the Swans where you guys won and he played on Ted Richards?
Yeah.
And he kicked like 2 goals, 7. And like he could have had a monster day. Yeah. And it's just like, sometimes, like, we might look at Jamara or you might look at Norton. If they made a grand final, like, one of those guys just tears it apart. You're like, oh, the contract's worth it. So it's weird because it's all on the day. Yeah. But you get so much more. But your midfielders are doing so well. It takes for them to not have one good game. You're like, fuck, maybe we shouldn't have paid McLean or like, it's hard. But
tell you what, it is fucking hard. And it's like, where I reckon the Swans are built a lot like Collingwood last year at the moment, where it's like the no-name forwards with Papley. Like Papley can be Jamie Elliott. And then half forward, half back and all the midfield. There's a lot of good players. Tom McCartan, Darcy Moore, like I know Darcy Moore's a lot better, but it's just the way we're built right now. But then Carlton, it's like you'd expect Charlie Curnow, the reason he's paid is for a grand final day or a big prelim final. He gets off the chain and kicks 4 second-half goals like he did yesterday, stuff like that. Just food for thought. I was just thinking while I was there. One other thing I want to talk about quickly. How weird are the 3 different levels of watching the footy? So if you're level 1, you don't actually see that much. You feel like you're watching local footy. You see what's right in front of you. Sometimes you can't even see the other end of the ground. You got to watch the big screen sometimes. It's just like, you know, it's just awesome atmosphere, but you're level 1. Then when you're on level 3, you can see when a goal's happening as soon as the ball's turned over because you can see the guy loose in the goal square and then the chain happens and you just see the whole ground and you see how teams move around the ground stuff. Then sitting level 2 where I sat, it's like I felt like I was on fucking Jamara's shoulders in a way. Like I can hear everything Dane Rampy was saying. I still felt so close, but you're sort of sitting on top of the players. Like you're close as, but you see the above view and all this stuff.
It's the prime spot.
I know I've been saying it all year. Yeah, it is. It's fucking awesome. I know I've been saying it all year. It made me appreciate how good Nick Blakey is, Das. He is a fantastic football player. Watching him from level 2 was just like... So he's one of our best kicks, tackle breakers, fastest players, but he had to play on Jamara or Sam Darcy or play loose. And the way he'll take front position, but if a high ball comes in, he tracks it, sprints back, spoils everything, third man up on everything, super courageous. Oh, he is a fantastic football player. And like I say to everybody, he is an All-Australian lock for mine, like lock. We're going to have 4 All-Australians, Das.
I was going to message you that someone didn't have him in their rolling All-Australian side. 2 people didn't. I forgot to screenshot. I was going to message you and start laughing.
I'm telling you, we're going to have 4 All-Australians without having one key position, which is just unbelievable. Actually, we're going to have halfback Nick Blakey, wing's going to be Errol. I reckon probably maybe Chad on the ball, Isaac on the bench, or the other way, Isaac on the ball, Chad on the bench. And Brodie Grundy's nearly having an All-Australian season as well. So we're going to have 4 to 5 without having one key position. It is exciting. It was great to be there. This has gone on a bit long, this game, but I just being there on my own, so much time to think. The cogs were ticking. My autism was coming out, and it just got shit to talk. So you give us some odds, Das. Do you need any players, or you got to written down?
So we started with Chad Warner for 4 goals, Jev, $16.
That's
$16. And for 5 goals, Jev, was at 61. So he could have had that.
And he handballed one off to fucking Taylor Adams.
Yeah. Jamara for 3 was 340. Now, I don't mind because I said that he might kick 5 goals. I don't mind if they don't get it, but they still get their shots on goal. That means the bet was in the right place.
Yep,
like your head was in the right place. Like you thought that he might get his chances. It's when that they just don't get a kick, then you're like, that was a shit bet. Like I also said Riley West, I thought that he might kick a couple.
He should have kicked 4. That was a good call as well, Das. That was great. He missed a couple of easy ones.
With Waitman out, I thought either him or Garcia. Garcia actually kicked a couple of nice little goals. Like he had a crack. I thought he was all right.
Yeah, he was good. He's a tackle breaker in the forward line. I watched him. He gets the ball, runs to space, takes on the first tackle, then short himself up.
Garcia was 8.25 for 2.
Who was that?
Garcia.
Nice. That's real nice.
Hayward, McLean, they weren't much. What about the touches? So we go Treloar. He's getting 30 every week at the moment.
James Jordan went to Bailey Dale and then after halftime went to Treloar because Treloar was just torching us. Watching him live, the way the Dogs do it and just seeing it live is like one goes and gets it and the other two, so when it was Richards, Treloar, Bont, the other two are waiting on the outside. So like being at the game, I didn't notice how good Bont was and I didn't think he was that good. I thought we held him all right. But then after the game, 26 touches, he nearly won in the game. Like he must have been real inside, real tough, getting it out to Richards, to Treloar. So I was glad we sort of stopped Treloar in the second half. He was playing really well.
Can we say Ed Richards is the only losing leg for me?
Yeah.
We never bash the players because it's our fault. We put it on. But 18 disposals in the first half, needed him for 20. He looked, it's like the Swans weren't ready for it. When he got the ball, the Swans players were like flat-footed and he would go roll a shoulder. He gets himself into he doesn't kick on a bad kicking position.
Yep.
Like he doesn't run to his left and then just try and put on the outside. He like straightens back up and then will deliver the kick.
He was
and
super impressive.
He always finds the right target, doesn't he? How good was his elusiveness?
Yeah.
Just running. Like
super impressive.
He's going to be an absolute like top line player. Ed Richards, he's a gun.
Yeah.
But those are the big markets. The 25, what was Goulden? And Heaney, Goulden was $1.37. Warner was $1.85. So all pretty short. But the big one was obviously Chad Warner. He had a career night, Jev. 3 Brownlow votes. I said earlier, mate, I'm telling you, he will be right there because he's still getting votes. He's still playing really well and he stands out like a sore thumb. He went from 18 into 11 in 3 quarters.
He's getting 9 votes for the last 3 weeks. As I said, he'll get 3 against Freo. Isaac will get 2. He'll get 3 against Carlton. Isaac will get 2. And then he got 3 the other night. I don't know who's getting the 2. And Errol's having such an underrated season. It's probably because Chad and Heaney are playing so well. 1 goal, 25 touches again, 97% game time. He's playing fucking good footy. There's one other thing quickly I want to touch on. I know we're going too long in this game. When I was at the game, I probably didn't want this. But looking back on it, I wish the Dogs kicked 1 more goal to get it to 2 points. I was at 8 points and I was fucking nervous at the game. I wish they kicked 1 more and it got to 2 points. And the Swan supporters will probably hate me saying this, and I'll get I always get a few messages from the Swans boys that run their own sort of shows. I'm just because I've been to 3 losing grand finals, I'm terrified the first close game we play this year is in a big final and we don't fucking react well because we haven't played in any. So
it's a long time. It's a long time to go.
Even if soon we have got to buy and play Geelong. It's fucking weird. We've had 2 buys before one team's had a buy. Anyway, we played Geelong. I'm not going to complain if it's a close game. Personally, I think we're going to pump them, or I think we're too quick for them. We're going to go straight at them. But I want to see us play a game where we're either, because we played in 1 against Richmond and we didn't get it done, we're either 5 points down going into the last quarter or we're 2 points up with 8 minutes to go or something. I want to see how we react, and it has to happen before finals. But the thing is, it was in the 4th quarter, we were 29 points up again. We were smashing another top 8 side. We were on fire. Credit to the Dogs. They were really, really good. Happy with the Dogs. Righto, next game. Let's move on. The fucking draw. I'm going to leave this one to you. I watched the first half, Friday night in Perth. I had to work early Saturday morning. I fucking fell asleep. I woke up and it was a draw. I still don't know really what happened with that umpiring decisions. I don't know what happened. I see it all over fucking Insta and stuff, and people are commenting on it. Talk to me about this game, Dust. I want to know what happened. I watched the first half, not the second half.
First of all, I want to fix the schedule. If we have an 8-10 game in Perth, rather than all the Victorians, I know this, if you're someone from Perth, oh, they're complaining. I'm telling you how to fix it. We had 2 1:45 games on a Saturday. Most people either have local footy, they're playing, they're either going to that, or you don't get time, like you're finishing work, you don't get time to watch both of those games. Figure out a schedule. It's a one-off, or you might only have 2 of them a year. You have a game on at 6:10 in Victoria, and then that overlaps, and then you got the 8-10 game. So at least for people that want to have a punt, or you want to sit down, you get home early on a Friday arvo, you get to watch 2 games, and then you've got that one standalone 1:45 game, because you're not going to watch both on a Saturday arvo.
Especially because if it's a 6:10 game in Melbourne, that's going to be a 6. That's a 6. The 8:10 is a 6:10 start in Perth. So if we're getting a 6:10 game, they get a 6:10 game. Sort
exactly.
Of yeah.
I think it works perfectly. So at the start, Freo went out, punched him in the mouth. We're playing really well. Then Collingwood came back, and then Dacos was just doing what he does. He probably gets another 3 votes in this game, Jeff. He gets. Oh, he's so fucking good. So at the end, the ball. They reckon, I can't remember who was talking about it. So they reckon that Collingwood are the masters at chewing down the clock.
Yep.
Whether it be the last couple of minutes, they hold on the ball a little bit more. And potentially this may be a trick that they've done in the past. So it's like, as soon as you get up, give it to one teammate, give it to the next, and there's another second off the clock. I don't think that was the case with Lockie Sullivan. I genuinely think he was on the ground, just got up, didn't see the umpire behind him, gave it to Nick. Nick threw it to him. That is not 50. That is not a free kick. I know it's a letter of the law. Get some common sense, because then that brought them back into the game. And then the fucking Dockers were coming. Alex Pearce was out on his legs. It was either him or Luke Ryan. They're like, one of us has to go forward. And he's like, fuck, I will. My legs are cooked. He just went back, took the mark, and he just didn't even think about it. He went back so quickly, flicked it twice, went through and absolutely pumped it through. And then they had another shot within the end where Sharp ran through. They went end to end.
I actually don't even know. So Alex Pearce's shot put him 1 point down, did it?
Yep.
And then I've seen Jeremy Sharp shot. That was to win the game. That made it a draw.
And then it went back down the other end. And then there was about 19 seconds where the ball was bubbling round, almost got out the back. Johnny Noble almost got one. And then it got held in, was a draw. So
wow.
It was almost like the Collingwood Essendon game is in, like, I think almost both teams are happy with the draw, because Freo definitely could have won it. And the Pies definitely could have won it. Yep. So they're both just like, I think we both just got away with one there. So, like, we'll shake hands. We'll go away with the draw. Andy Brayshaw's finally starting to get back into it, Jev. And he seems like the best bloke of all time.
Doesn't he?
When in all of his interviews, he just sounds like the best bloke. But as you said, Jev, like, the Pies went over there with I loved
Freo to win this game, and its draw looks dumb. They went over with the worst team, the Pies. I don't know if I know they're injured. Is it a bit of arrogance, or is it just Craig McRae being like, nah, I'll see if you can play Collingwood football or not. You're in the side. They all play the same way.
So and that's what we'll get into the Geelong game a little bit. So did you hear what Chris Scott's philosophy was on resting players? He knows it's a gamble. So he came out with a book after the 2022 grand final. He's like, I'm happy to gamble on resting players throughout the season to come into the back end of the year in our absolute prime. I had too many years where we just try and win these games, and we get through and we get to the end of the year and we get to a final and we're cooked.
He fucking did.
And he's like, I'm not doing that anymore.
Yeah.
If we have to lose more games throughout the season, but we just make finals with a full squad, that is all we need. Because, and then they're talking about, so teams like Essendon, what do they have? Like, if they win a final, that's a successful year, yeah?
Yep.
Geelong are in it to win a flag.
Yes, when you get there,
to win it. So he's like, we don't give a fuck about just winning a final. We want to just get enough to make finals and be our absolute prime. And maybe the Pies are doing this, because I still think they're probably the third best team in the comp.
Yep.
Like, when they're on, they're playing some unbelievable footy. But too late for me, Jev. Freo are a pretty good side.
Yep.
Yeah, not too much else to. I thought it was a fucking terrible first half. I went to bed at halftime, watched the rest of the game.
They got a lot of talent on the park. Like Sarong has his worst game of the season. It's 25 touches, but Brayshaw stepped up. Old man Fife looked all right. Jai, what's the A stand for Jai in Jai? Another miss. And Nick Dacos can fucking play footy. He's got another 3 Brownlow votes. Yeah. Draw's a draw. It happens. It's more likely to be a draw right now than it is for Richmond or North Melbourne to win a game. So
it's almost weird that they got the draw of the Pies again. So now that's just like they don't have that 2-point buffer.
They had 1 win, 1 loss in a way. Yeah, true.
Bailey Banfield for 3 goals was 8.25. Harvey Harrison. Is it Harvey? Harvey Harrison kicked 3, which is $19, which is nice. Brody Myercheck, what was he for 2? 2.12, Jev. That's still good price.
Yeah.
For your number one forward, he's getting absolutely disrespected on the markets. Was Sharp paying for 1? So Jeremy Sharp was $2 for 1. He kicked 1 goal, 2.
Yeah.
What could you get him for 2? For 2 goals, he's $7.25.
Yeah, that's a lookout.
So if he gets forward more, and could you get him for 3?
I'm pretty sure the last time he didn't kick a goal was when Morgs had him in the 100K. He kicked a goal about 3 games before that. He's kicked 3 games after.
And for 3 goals, he was 26.
Yeah.
So if he's getting looks in.
He's a hard runner. There was one in the first half. He started the train at half back, got on his bike, and as they kept kicking up the field, he was always ready to get it back. And then he was nearly going to kick the goal, or he can run. He can run.
Dacos fans for 35 was $2.80. Was Jordan Clark had 35 as well, $11.50. So
another one. Done. The Swans put on tape to tag him. I know Collingwood don't tag; they back their system. But if you don't tag him, he can torture. Anyway, let's move on. That was a draw. This game, I can't tell you anything about because why would you play Carlton and then North and Port in Tasmania at the same time? I was working, but I had Carlton on the radio, so at least I know what happened in that game. I've got no idea what happened in North Port Adelaide. Port get it done by 59 points. Zach Butters kicks 2 first-half goals. One of them is my favourite goal in footy, Duff. The tap from the ruckman, the breakaway speed, and the goal. It looks beautiful.
So when I saw that highlight, because I haven't even gone back and rewatched this, I thought it was the first goal of the game, and it reminded me identical when Geelong versus Melbourne, MCG, first second of the game. Ablett gets it straight through, kicks a goal in 9 seconds, and you're like, holy fuck, they're going to absolutely pump them. But I saw that there'd already been a goal on either side. There's 2 best goals. That is the second best goal in footy. The breakaway from the stoppage, the next is the Joe go out the back. When you get to go out the back and kick that.
Greatest goal in football.
This game is absolute doggy's ass. It was just, what was the line? 44.5. They got through on that. Do you have some odds?
Yeah, I got odds. I'll tell you, he's in good form. Oh, it doesn't play bad. Luke Davies-Uniacke. He's putting himself on show for a team to come and get him. And I'd get him. I think he's an A-grade midfielder.
So do I.
Goal kicker, tackle breaker. He's smooth. He's inside. He's outside. He backs himself. 1 goal, 35 touches. It's a big game. I have some odds, Dars. I will go through some screenshots and you can...
Todd Marshall kick 5.
No, I got disposals first. So who we got for disposals?
Davies-Uniacke 35.
8.25.
Nice. Fisher 32. Fisher 30 every week, Jev. He's in short now.
$2.15. Yeah, $2.15. Zach Butters was a multi-kill yesterday, only getting 20, wasn't he? Zach Butters 25 is usually death taxes. He kicks 2.
Do you watch the Sunday Footy show? No, I didn't. Do you know who gets votes in this game? Probably Davies-Uniacke. Butters probably doesn't get one.
He won in the game in the first quarter. He got tagged by Liam Shields. Any other touches?
Ollie Wines for 26, so 25 touches.
$1.87.
Darcy Tucker for 25.
I will have a look for you. Darcy Tucker, they reckon. I can't find him here. I screenshotted I'm up to goals. It doesn't look like you could get him.
Nah, fuck it. Just go goals. Todd Marshall for 5.
$10.50. 21 to 1 for 6. $10.50 for 5.
Oh, now we got some 2. So we got Darcy Byrne-Jones for 2. The Greek Pizza, Mitch Georgiades. Butters for 2. And Ollie Wines for 2.
Butters. All right. The Greek Pizza for 2. See, I only screenshotted from 3 onwards, so he must have been like $1.80 for 2. Same as Darcy Byrne-Jones. He was $3.80 for 3, so $1.80 for 2.
What would you say Butters was? $4.10.
No, I'm getting to Butters now.
Remember you sent it?
Yeah. He was, because he was on an all-time game. I can't fucking find him here. I'm never screenshotting like this again on my phone. Zach Butters, so he was $4.40 for 2, 14 for 1 for 3, and then 51 for 4. When he had 2 at quarter time. Like, could he kick 4 at 51-1? So, yeah, sorry, there's not much to report in that game. Neither of us really saw it. Why would you play 2 games at 1:45 middle of a Saturday? Like, what if you're playing local footy? Find other places to play games. Like, I know it's dream time at the G, but even the second Saturday night game's better than that. When you're sitting on the couch and you can watch 2, no one's sitting on the couch 2 o'clock Saturday.
Tell me, Tassie aren't going to get a big crowd down there if they do a 6:10 Friday night game.
100%.
North get a Friday night game. Port get another Friday night game.
Yeah.
They can get the Red Eye home. They're back on Saturday.
Yeah. Good call.
That game doesn't get buried. You're actually going to watch it.
100%. 100%. If that's on when by the time you finish from work, head down to the pub for a quick beer and you're watching North Port on a Friday arvo, I reckon that's a great call to us. You're on, brother.
Yeah,
good
so
fix in the schedule. Right, our next game. So you've gone to this game by yourself. The Blues get it done by 29 points. You're happy they're back on the winners list because your butthole was tight before this game. You were nervous. Talk to me.
All right, so we dominated the first half and couldn't put it on the scoreboard. We had I think, what was the over? I'll check the possessions in a minute. I think we beat so overall disposals, Jeff, 408 to 270.
Yeah.
They just didn't get their hands on it. So we absolutely took the piss in the first quarter. We only kicked 3 goals forward, then they kicked 2 goals late. So, all right, it's pretty close. Then we only kicked 1 goal 5 in the second quarter, and we're only up by 7 points. And we're like, this shouldn't be this close. Initially, want to give a massive shout out. Mac Andrews is going to be an All-Australian.
He was awesome.
Blanketed Charlie to an extent. So every ball that came in, it was a one-on-one. It was on Charlie's head, and they were kicking to him so bad. Even though you're in front, Mac's too long. I always said, if Charlie gets a run and jump at it, even some of them they're on a lead, but none were out in front. And Mac just got his hand to it.
Yeah.
And he also knew when to come off and read the other opposition. People forget that he went out in the second quarter against Geelong when the Gold Coast absolutely smashed Geelong.
Yeah.
He hurt his lower leg, and he was on fire. He had 15 disposals in the first quarter and a half.
He can play.
Picked up right where he left off. He will be an All-Australian. Once you get more time into him.
We saw him gather around against GWS, and he was awesome as well that day.
He is going to. Yeah. He's got every attribute. He can run. He can kick.
Tall.
He can spoil because he's so long.
Yep.
He doesn't chop the arms because he comes through late. So I just want to give a massive shout out to him. But the only time Charlie did get going was when Mac actually went into the ruck.
Yeah.
Or he wasn't off him and he was on the bench. Like, Charlie still finished with 4 goals for. So almost he missed the last one with 20 seconds ago. So
that's a big day.
Charlie really had to work his way into it. You can tell he's a little bit frustrated. I do want to say that Cripps was hands down the best player on the ground. He went head-to-head with Rowell.
Yep.
And smashed him in the first half.
Yep.
I know everyone was saying that Rowell's like he had 9 disposals and 12 tackles at one stage. That is because he was second to the footy. So don't always say that, but he's a tackling machine. Like, Rowbottom's a tackling machine. This game, he had so many tackles because he was second to the ball.
David King was saying, you haven't listened to the commentary yet. David King was on the commentary. He goes, Pat Cripps is standing next to Matt Rowell and teaching him a lesson. He goes, 100%. Matt Rowell's one of my favourite players, and I think there's no one tougher. He's like, Pat Cripps is just smashing him. He's getting first hands to the ball. They're like, they need Matt Rowell to get going, to start getting some clearances. Like, the Suns rely on Rowell to get the cogs turning, and Cripps was just dominating him. That's 2 years in a row he's done that to him, Das.
Yep. Paddy Cripps did the business to him and Tom Green. So Cripps had 13 disposals, 13 clearances, 31 disposals and a goal. But this game, and he does it in a different way to the other best player. Like, Chad Warner stands out like a sore thumb. So does Dacos. Watching him live and how strong he is in the tackle.
Grinds his way in.
And some people might not look at him and be like, he's one of the best. He's one of the best players in the comp because he does it so different.
Yep.
The way that he does, I thought his game was so much better than Sammy Walsh's.
Yep.
Mind you, I think last week, you maybe watch a player and you're just like, fuck, I need to start doing that a little bit more. I think you watch Warner's bouncing the ball more. Butters is bouncing the ball more. Yep. Rankin's bouncing the ball more. Sam Walsh took about 4 or 5 bounces yesterday. Right. And they're like, go. His disposal killed him a little bit. He just had some kicks inside 50. You can see he's just like, fuck.
Yeah.
Can't believe I did that. But we had all the play. Mac Andrews kept him in it in the first bit. Noah Anderson didn't see him. Took Miller didn't see him. Rao didn't see him. and we just absolutely smashed them. Went
Smashed
pillar to
them.
post. Blake Acres ran all the way up and down the ground.
Mac Andrews is the reason Gold Coast were in that game.
100%. I thought De Koning went unbelievable one-on-one with Wits.
Yep.
I thought he had a great game.
Battle.
By the way, when I was sitting there, I watched the first half from level 3, put the headphones in, had SEN synced up. Amazing listen to Jared.
Yep.
Have a shot, Scotty Lucas, on the special comments, doesn't shut up. He almost goes through half the play. Like, you don't even hear any play-by-play. He's trying to talk too much. Wiedering copped another bit of a corky. He looked really sore out there.
He is a corky.
Yeah, but I just want to say, so yesterday morning, went through, was trying to find my $3 multi for Carlton Suns. I went through, trying to look at goal kickers. And Zach Williams was 4th favourite to kick a goal. And I'm like,
$1.64. And what a go. Kerno, Mackay, Owies, Williams.
Yeah, and I'm
And
like,
you're like $1.64, yeah.
I'm like, why is he there? Obviously, Sard's back in the side. I'm like, maybe he's playing forward. And I'm like, maybe he might kick a few. So look at 1, 2, 3, 4, $4.50 for 2, $16 for 3, and 61 for 4. I'm like, well, fuck, if he's playing forward.
If he's kicking 1, yeah.
You know, like you hear that shit all the time. It's like, oh, they put him forward. He had a day. So I'm like, fuck it. Put a couple bucks on all of them. He kicked 2 in the first quarter. I'm like, he's fucking doing
Kicked
this.
the first as well.
He's fucking doing this. So he went forward. I actually hope he plays there a little bit more because I think as a defender, he's not all there. He's good. If our defense is absolutely sound and locked down, then he can be an attacking halfback.
Yep.
But I just think when we're depleted, he's not a very good like one-on-one defensive come-up player.
Yep.
But as a crummer, he was great.
Yep.
He got up the ground a little bit more and just knew where to sit, where the ball was. Half his goals were out the back as well.
Yep.
And like he would take the square a little bit and let Charlie come up the ground because he's got really good pace. But he kicked 4 goals. He was awesome. Fogarty now, he had 16 touches and did he kick a goal? No, 16 touches and a point. We are now 15-2 when he plays.
Really? So he's the guy.
So he finally came back into the side. As I said, I thought Walsh was good, but Patrick Cripps was by far
3 Brownlow votes.
That was almost as impressive. I know he didn't have as many touches, but that's just as impressive as that GWS game when he had 39. Like breaking tackles. For anyone that's an NFL fan, all I can compare his pace to, it's like Patty Mahomes.
Yeah.
He doesn't look quick, but he's elusive and just gets through.
Yep.
Or if he does get tackled, he shrugs and gets a handball out. He very, very rarely gets tackled holding the ball.
And what you see live with him is it takes 2 tacklers to take him down, and he invites the second tackler. It means Walsh is on the outside waiting, and 2 players tackle Cripps, handballs it out, Walsh is free to run. You start seeing that live. How many times he takes a tackle for Carlton to get it to the free player. Yeah, as you said, he just does it different, but it's brutal. He's back to his brutal best. And all I've heard this morning, and they were talking about it live, all-time bad coaching moment from Damien Hardwick was when Mac Andrews went into the ruck
Couldn't
to
agree
chop
more.
Jared Witts in,
Couldn't
and
agree.
then Kerno kicks 2 in a minute. And it's like, then you get Kerno going. I think he only kicked 1 directly matched up on Mac Andrews, but they killed themselves.
Yeah, it was a free kick as well.
Put Ben King in the fucking, I know Ben King played all right. Put someone else in the ruck that's got a bit of height. Play without a ruckman. Like, make fucking Charlie Ballard jump or something. Sam Closey. Mac Andrews was beating Charlie Kerno. He could have got the job done. He could have kept him goalless for the first time forever. So, yeah, just an all-time shocker by Damien Hardwick. But I'm sure there's a reason. I'm sure Jared Witts needed a rest. His hammy might have started feeling tight. Carlton, keep rolling. Do you have any odds for us, or did you already say him?
Yeah, no, I've got him. So what else? I only just said the Zach Williams one. Who else kicked goals? Do you have the AFL up there?
Yeah, so 4 was Zach Williams, 4 for Charlie Kerno.
4 for Kerno was 270.
3 for Ben King.
He just kept popping up. I don't think he played great, but he just kept popping up. 225.
And 2 for Noah Long.
2 for Noah Long.
Is that his name? Ben Long. Who's
Ben
Noah?
Long, yeah, 425. Yeah, he was lively.
And then touches, Walsh 30, Cripps 30.
Walsh 30, Cripps 30. So we screenshot these ones on our phone. So
yeah.
Walsh was 165. Cripps was 320.
That's nice. And then DeConning 25 is one that stands out here.
Oh, can we even get him? DeConing. Yeah, $10. Also, Mitch McGovern had a great game. Took some unbelievable marks.
He did.
He just Yeah, so that's the win that we want to see from the boys. I was very, very happy. Yeah, we definitely look better with Sard down back. Jordan Boy, he didn't impact as much with the ball, but just defensively. And Nick Newman had. Did you watch? He had a no look kick. The ball came back in defense, and Mitch McGovern must have yelled behind him, "Kick it back to me over your shoulder." He was in the back pocket and just turned and just kicked it straight over his head like a no looker. Where like if that somehow was turned over goal, it would have been the worst kick of all time. But it was like one of the best kicks of all time. So the Blues won, Jev. I'm happy. Suns. My only thing with them is I know that we talk about, they're probably primed to win a flag in the next 2 or 3 years. If you can't win in Melbourne,
you
can't
win.
If you finish 7th or 8th and you have to come play in Melbourne, like who says that you're winning here? You might just go straight out. Like you got to be finishing top 4, top 2 to try and get at least a run at 100%. It. Then you get it on grand final day because at the moment, when do they win at the G? When do they win at Marvel?
Yeah.
So
I agree. You had your big Zach Williams call. My call was for Jed Walter to get off the chain, have his career game. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm like, this is going to be his game. Subbed off with 1 possession. He had a stinker.
Do you reckon it's because I messaged him before the game?
He said, good luck today, brother.
I said, good luck today, mate. He's like, cheers, see you there. I think I scared him.
You scared him off. Yeah, he had a shocker.
Well, I don't want to message him being like, sorry, mate.
When I was listening, he was in the goal square all alone and the Suns were out and it was 1 bad possession and it would have ended up in a Jed Walter goal, got his confidence going. So he didn't play that second game in Darwin. And I don't know if he played footy at all. Then they had a 10-day break from Thursday to Saturday, Darwin to Melbourne, but he didn't even play that game. So I don't know if he's played a game in 20 days. Like he's a young forward trying to make his way. Like maybe he just was a bit out of touch, subbed off. It's going to kill his confidence.
No, there was a few times where they had it in the half-forward line and held it up and they didn't kick it inside 50 quickly to the one-on-ones. No, they didn't. And then the Blues, and everyone got back and then they tried to chip it. So he could have got his hands on it early, but they just didn't give it to him. So I'm shattered because I do love Big Jed, but Blues dominated.
Next game. The Giants get it done down at GMHBA again. I think they've won 3 or 4 in a row there. Both teams were on 3-game losing streaks. Whoever lost this game was going to lose 4 in a row. I know you were talking about that Chris Scott thing before, how he doesn't care about in-game seasons, but you cannot lose 4 in a row in the middle of the year. The Giants get it done from all-time player superstar moments in the last quarter, just the moments that matter. This was a cool game, cool finish. I listened to the first half driving home. I watched the second half at home. You go first, Dobe.
It's funny because now after that game, Giants are 4th and Cats are 5th. So they're still
both
there.
On 28 points.
1, 2, 3, 4 teams on 28 points. Melbourne play today, so they can jump up. Brisbane can jump. Yeah, so pretty much only Melbourne can jump up to 4th, and then everyone else pushes down. They would push Freo out. But this felt like a final. Absolutely felt like a final. I thought Toby Green is finally back into some seriously good nick. The way that he can just find the ball when he has to and put one through is incredible. So he had 2 goals, 24 touches. If anyone hasn't seen the goal in the last quarter, so they were out on their feet. Geelong were coming. They kicked 3 or 4 in a row, and they looked like they were panicking coming out of the back line. This is the Giants, and they couldn't get one forward, and they get one squirted out the back. Toby Green picks it up and kicks probably a 55-degree angle, so not deep towards the boundary, and kicks a 45-meter check side that splits the middle and almost hits the fence on the full.
It was one of the most talented finishes I've ever seen, Das. He never lined his shoulders up to goal. He lined it up to the point post or the behind post, whatever it's fucking called, and then just check-sided and just hooped around. And he was on Oyson Mullen, and Oyson Mullen wouldn't fear Toby Green because he probably doesn't even know who the fuck he is. This was an Irish guy. They call him the Irish Nick Dacos. He wouldn't know who he's on. Oyson did everything right. Left his man, went forward, clean off the deck, picks up the ball. His kick gets smothered and it just lands in Toby's hands on his own. He just turns around, doesn't square his shoulders up and just kicks his checks. Oh, what a finish. And then Lee Kalidas, I was in awe. I was like silent in shock. So he takes that 1 mark in the pocket and he goes long down the line. Geelong do what they do. They were set the ground up really well, and then they kick it in again, and that chest mark hanger, 25 seconds left, up by 4 points. That's like all-time shit. And then I was like, that is so impressive. And we were there that day, same game, Carlton GWS. He was really good that day.
On Charlie.
On Charlie, he was really good. It wasn't until he kicked 3 into the third quarter. He was playing fucking well. And then his interview with Cam Mooney after the game, he has a fan for life in me. I was just so impressed. The way he spoke, the way he said, the Giants backline hates soft drops. They call them soft drops. And he's like, I saw that go up. I'm like, I had a soft drop in the last quarter where Stengel crumbed it and kicked a goal.
Off his toe, and like you saw him, he's like, fuck.
Yeah,
so he definitely
hate soft drops, hate all this. And just to have that moment down at Geelong, the Geelong fans will remember him for life now. The interview with Moons after the game, I'm in awe. I was in awe. I'm like, well done, young fella. That was fucking awesome.
The fact that all the boys are in the room ready to sing the song, and he's like, he took every photo, signed every autograph.
And the way the Giants got around him when that siren went, every player just went to him and got around him. And it's just like that I'm him moment. I was so impressed. It was the 2 Lee Kalia marks and the Toby Green goal is just the difference of winning and losing. And the Giants just got it right and fucking won the game. Good on them. One thing, I don't know if you heard this. Phil Davis was on SEN this week on Jared, right? And he was talking about this game. And early days, the Giants used to talk about it's a different ground and the wind's like this and it's skinny and thinner ground and Geelong play the game so well. They used to think about like GMHBA. Then he said, because they've won 3 in a row, then he said, you know what we did? Want to know what wins at GMHBA? Being first to the footy and putting pressure on and kicking it, like getting it in the forward line and leaving it in there. Stop worrying about the ground dimension. Stop worrying about that Geelong are good at the game. Be first to the ball and put pressure on. They've won 3 in a row at GMHBA. That is unheard of, a team beating Geelong 3 times in a row down there. So they just changed the way they thought about that ground, the Giants, and now they just go there and win. And it's fucking awesome, to be honest.
It was a great win. Unfortunately, I was out. Jev was working late, so we don't have any markets for this one. But if anyone in the comments had Riccardi for 4, would love to know what Toby Green was paying for 2. I'm sure it was something around the
25 touches as well. Toby Green 24 actually 24.
So just miss out. But touches
Max
and everything. I'd love to know what he was paying. He's having a good season, Jev. He's a good player.
Bloody Grind Myers was a multi-killer. He had his first game of the whole year under 20, which hurts. So good win by the Giants. They needed that. That will get their season kick-started again. Watch them go on an 11-game win streak again, Das. That's the win they needed. See Lockie Whitfield's cheek after the game? Oh, that
huge.
Blitzard's in trouble for that. Chose to bump but clashed heads. That's exactly what Luke Parker did.
Yeah, I don't know. But
it's not VFL rules. I don't know. I reckon he's in trouble. Righto, it is Sunday morning, so this is our final game we're covering, and then we'll be back later. Dreamtime at the G. The Bombers get it done by 12 points. Richmond actually have a crack. This was a pretty good game because we saw the Dustin Martin of old, Das. You go first, brother.
The Dean Polo Cup. So who actually won the medal?
Jordan Ridley. It was an all-time first game back.
He played great. Did he play any VFL?
One half. He was 34-1 for the Yukon medal, Jordan Ridley. Played a half of VFL last week and then was best on ground by an absolute mile. He was sensational. Oh, man, he makes the Bombers look good, Das. He makes them look scary.
Yeah, he had 31-1. He obviously got the free kick that came downfield with the 50-metre penalty and came through. The Tigers had a crack. Now, the Tigers are going to have a crack a couple of times this year. So it's not about when you play them. It's not about who you play. It's about when you play them. So if you got them in the last couple of weeks, you'd probably be pretty happy as they were pretty much a glorified VFL side. Lafau looks so confident up forward, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Like, if it's a one-on-one,
he flies at everything, doesn't he?
He's fucking strong and he's actually got a really good set shot. So you had him, but still, they just don't have the cattle to go along with him. Knacker's caddy, Jev, he looks huge.
Yeah. He's an impressive specimen, isn't he?
Huge. So he probably should have kicked a couple, missed a cut, hit post with his first shot, slided one late with his other one. Elijah Sardis, Jev, so he was a high draft pick that I thought was going to be an absolute gun. He was averaging pretty much 35. His first game he came into last year, he came on versus West Coast, where they only won by about a point. Second last game of the year. And I just felt ever since then, he's just been just a little bit nervous.
Yeah.
When they versed, who they versed? They versed when they versed North 2 weeks ago. He had it on the wing, was coming down and just like turned the ball over like with his first kick and just looked like fuck. So I'm not sure what he needs to do because he seems to go back to the VFL and has a fuck ton of it.
Yeah.
So I think they just need to keep getting more games into him. Because once he comes on, I think he's going to be a great player. But I didn't get on this last night. I'm an idiot. The Jake Stringer game.
Yeah, he kicked 3 in the first quarter. He had the first 3 of the game, I think.
It's fucked. So he kicked 4 goals, only had the 10 touches, but he took the piss. He absolutely loves to bully sides. An absolute multi-killer for us, Jev, is Peter Wright. Could not get near it. The 10K Punters Club is done, as well as the Pigeon McGrath only had 19. But that goal from Martin.
Yeah, that was fucking awesome.
The fact that you can run on your left, take one step to square yourself back up and then snap it. Mackay didn't even put his hand up to try and touch it on the line.
No.
That was an all-time kick.
So Dusty paid 13 for 1 for 3. Stringer paid $7.50 for 4. Langford was for 3. Was only $2.10 for 3. It's just, you know, Peter Wright's a good player. He's tall. He is their key forward. You're like, he's kicking 2, isn't he? And then he doesn't kick 1. Just unbelievable. Did Shai Bolton get subbed off because Big LaFave put a knee in his back?
Probably. We should have Corky watch. Like, do you see Hugo Ralsmith cop one in the first quarter? He couldn't go back off his mark. There's nothing funny than watch a bloke with a corky just to try and run it out.
Marlon Pickett could have tore this game apart. He's so he misses some easy goals. He was frustrating. Another one, Richmond, I know they're not going that well and stuff, but they have the worst skills in the league. You know, some teams are super slick at those quick hands, and even when they're getting tackled, the handball spills out and it goes to a player. The amount of, when watching on TV last night, the amount of handballs they missed, where if they got it to them, they were out and they'd put it behind them or they would fumble. Just like when they're going bad, their skills were horrible last night. I can't be the only one that noticed that.
Yeah, they weren't that good. I do have something interesting for you though, Bombers fans. This is a game that you want to circle.
Yep.
Gold Coast, Essendon, up at the Suns on Sunday.
Yep.
You win this, you are a lock.
A lock.
Like a lock. You're locked away. You're pushing top 4.
Yep.
Like you're literally pushing. If you can beat the Suns, so the early odds, the Suns are favourite at $1.73. You think they're going to have a bounce back game.
Yep.
And the Bombers are probably due to drop one.
Yeah, but this is the one. If the way you were talking about Brad Scott before, how he's like he wants to take the gamble on resting players so they're right at the right time of the year. Chris Scott, who's his fucking brother?
Brad.
The coach of Essendon. So he would have read this book or he knows this book. Or,
who does Brad love?
Hey?
Who does Brad love?
It's Joe Watson. Anyway, that's a story for another day. He'd know this book. He'd know this theory, whatever. If the Bombers go to Gold Coast next week and win, they are going to lock themselves up to play finals, right? They can start resting guys. They can start worrying about winning a flag. It won't even be winning a final anymore. It'll be winning a premiership. And the final will come because players will be rested. They beat Gold Coast next week.
They've got Gold Coast. Carlton,
MCG.
Then the bye.
If they go zip and do, it's tight buttholes darth. They're going to start shitting themselves.
I hope so. Because I can't, I'm sorry, Bombers fan. And I love all my Bombers friends. Love them. Love them to death. I can't stand that football club.
Hey, I'm happy for them. They're fucking good. They're fucking good.
They're playing really well. And you can still appreciate them playing well. But, you know, teams you just don't want to win. Like it's almost like a grand final when you get to play Collingwood. It's like a divisional game.
Yeah.
When you play Essendon and when you play Collingwood.
Yeah.
Not so much Richmond because that's just like an opening game because we only play them once a year usually. Play them in the opening, welcome to the season, then we sort of don't see Richmond again for another year. But you see Collingwood and you see Essendon.
Middle of the
year.
year.
You just want to Put it on him.
I'll give you some odds. So Jordan Ridley was 10-1 for 30, which is nice. Nick Hind, Kyle Bomb, he was 470 for 25. Zach Merritt just had the 30. He was only $1.57 for 30. Geez, that's short. Heppel with 25. He is in fantastic form, Dyson Heppel. Good on him. Honestly, good fucking on him. Where is he? Where's he?
This is the best he's going to be for the rest of his career.
25. He was $5.40. 100%. This is the best he's ever been in his career. Anyone else? No real. Dion Prestia. The Tigers look better with Dion Prestia, don't they?
They do.
They look better with Dion Prestia. What did he pay?
I mentioned last time, who does more tissue damage? A 15-year-old staying home on a day from school or Dion Prestia?
Dion Prestia. He was for 25, $2.50. So that's about it. So, yeah, Jordan Ridley was 34-1 for the medal. That would have been nice. I had a little sprinkle on Alwyn Davey Jr. at 81-1. Kicked one. I had him for 2, 3, and 4. He was fucking didn't get there. If he gets just this much better, Das, he's going to play in a forward line with Jake Stringer, Nate Caddy, Peter Wright, Kyle Langford. What sort of forward line is that screaming out for? Someone at their feet with speed. He has to get this much better to have an all-time career. And I don't think he's that good, but I'm sure he's young. He wants to get better. So if he can get a little bit better, he can have an all-time career, Das. He can be an all-time small forward because that is a hell of a forward line to be a small forward in.
100%.
So, and Jade Gresham is the same. Everyone knows what he is at this stage, but it's set up for a small forward with how big that forward line is. So, yeah.
Alrighty. So we're about an hour in. So we've got 3 more games to go over. We'll go through them a little bit this Savo. So good. So good gambling games today.
And we're back for the second half of the roast to cover the Sunday games. So the Hawks get it done, 110 in the Igloo. It would have been freezing at Marvel Stadium. They beat the Lions by 25 points. You can almost pencil in us. Hawks beat Lions in Melbourne every year because they just know how to beat them. Did you see much of this game, Dave?
Nah, only little bits and pieces. But as you said, Jev, so they're the only team before coming into this game that have beaten Brisbane since 2020. They're 4-0. Yeah. So book this in for 5-0. So usually they play this one either in Tassie or at the G. But because they scheduled St Kilda and Melbourne, that they had to play in the Igloo. So I don't think this may be the first ever time that they've played at the Igloo. But didn't Jack Gunston in the Jack Gunston Cup just turn it back and kick some goals? Jack Ginnivan got a couple of nice free kicks. Will Day got into it. Everything that we mentioned on the pod earlier that we thought would happen. But the only thing that I really thought that the Hawks would have had to do was to put time into Neil, stop Neil, and you stop the Lions. And Neil still finished with 29. It's like the 5th best ranked player on the ground. So still got his, but they were just able to do it in other ways and just still a little bit unpredictable. But every single time where you got one of those young sides and when they get a bit of confidence, you can see how they play. And I wasn't sure whether, if you're a Hawks fan, the almost perfect thing, all you want to see is you're competitive but almost lose. Yeah. So you still get those top draft picks, but they're almost like, fuck it, while we got the ball rolling, let's actually learn how to win. And they're young kids. But the biggest thing with Brisbane, when they fall off a perch, like Zorko only had the 19, was he that good? Cameron kicked 1 goal, 3, missing his chances. And a couple of their bigger guys go missing. So, yeah, credit to the Hawks. They love playing these interstate sides either at Tassie or at under the lid at Marvel. They seem to be all right with it. So, yeah, great win. I said that they would win over 8 games this year because I thought the Bombers wouldn't get near that. The Bombers have absolutely smashed that. But I think we can all say the Hawks aren't that bad of a side.
No, they're not. Side. They're not. They were fucking good today. I watched this whole game. Lachie Neale was he's just unbelievable. He was so good. He was the only reason Brisbane didn't lose by 50 points and it was only 25 points. But the Hawks, I don't know if it was the Jack Gunston effect, but he stood himself next to Harris Andrews the whole game. So I don't know if it's him coming back to Hawthorn and just being like, nah, trust me, the whole game plan in Brisbane is around Harris Andrews.
And I'll take him. Yeah.
Letting him dominate. So Jack Gunston just parked himself next to Harris Andrews all day. No time into Lachie Neale. I think they put a little bit of time into Zorko. It didn't make it too easy for Zorko. But it's just Brisbane. You look at the midfield numbers. It's Amon, Warple, D'Ambrosio, Will Day, James Sicily, Ginnivan and Newcombe. And then there's only Neale and Dunkley in there. So they just smashed them around the ball. It's good to see James Sicily nearly back to his best or fit. But if you watch this game, he was just biting off these 45, 50-metre inboard kicks that wouldn't have gone over 5 metres on the ground, and he was just biting them off all day. He was dicing the Lions up by foot. So that's a good sign. Maybe he's been way more banged up that's been
reported
that the public knows. So he's back. It's good. Will Day is an absolute star. He kicked the goal from a 50-metre penalty, but the mark he took to kick that goal was a fucking ripper. Dan Brozo was good forward. And then Jack Ginnivan. I fucking love Jack Ginnivan. 1 goal, 23 touches. He is like a half forward that starts at half back and then just gets on his bike, and they get a lot of kicks where they're running back to goal but on the wing, and then they start getting it inboard, and then they get good one-on-one contest forward. Marbio Chol look better. Yeah, they just like playing the like playing the Lions. I'll tell you who's a good footballer, and you just got to start watching Kai Lohman. He's going to be a stud.
2 goals, 3.
He is going to be – I was just watching him. I think it was his third quarter. I think he had 4 shots on goal or something. I'm like, you can seriously play. But, yeah, they just smash him. Like, when the Lions lose sometimes, geez, they can look shit. Like, where was Cam Rayner? 7 touches, played the whole game. What's his name? McCluggage had a shocker. He had a couple of bad moments.
So he got subbed out last week. He has to be injured.
Bit sore, you reckon?
But they're just so underdone.
Yeah. Zach Bailey, he missed an easy goal and then he made up for it straight away, kicked us on. But they've kept Harris Andrews to 12 touches. So it's just like, just don't let him dominate games. If Harris Andrews has 25 touches, you're in trouble sort of thing. And then it just shows like the Lions, they're a bit injured and they're not at their best. And yeah, they were just really good.
Can I say for all the punters out there, one of the most frustrating things that I will be staying away from now is the fact that you get third best odds on anytime goal scorer for Blake Hardwick.
Yeah.
And he doesn't play forward the whole game.
He did at the start. He was playing forward, but then he went back.
And it's just like, fuck me.
One thing I absolutely loved in this game. So the Lions came back to it. So what was the margin at halftime? So they were by 4 goals at halftime, 24 points. And then it was only about 8 points. What's 10 goals, 8? That's 68. What's 8 goals, 12? That's 60. Yeah, they're only up by 8 points at 3/4 time.
It came into a draw at one stage, I'm pretty sure, or only a couple of points.
Yeah. So they're only up by 8 at 3/4 time. And it just, everyone was just like, whatever happened at Port Adelaide last weekend is happening again. And then Sam Mitchell went and coached on the bench from the last quarter.
Get the message.
He said last week, he goes, I just couldn't get my message out to the players because they're only allowed runners 4 times a quarter or something. And
after every goal.
Or after every goal. And he's like, I just couldn't get my message out. So he went and coached on the bench, and then they run away 5-goal victors. It's like, everyone learned from that loss at Port Adelaide last week. So Sam Mitchell would have looked in the mirror. He would have showed the players what they did wrong. And then he would have looked in the mirror and goes, what would have happened if I was down on the bench? Would that have changed? So it was really cool seeing him down there. And then, I don't know if you saw at the end of the game, he was just sitting next to Jack Gunston, and they were laughing on the bench together, and he was happy. And it was actually really good footage. So you got to be happy for the Hawks. That's a good win. So the Lions are only on 18 points, and then Carlton are from 4th to 8th, they're all on 28 points. So they're 2.5 games behind. I can't see them making the 8 from now. We all tipped all preseason saying there's going to be a fucking good team miss the 8. Geez, I didn't see it being the Lions before the season.
But with the injuries as well, there's always usually one team that gets banged up that you can't predict. Like when you do your preseason predictions, and when everyone does the preseason predictions, we're predicting on every team has a full slate of health.
Yeah.
And that's what we're predicting.
Yep.
So no one would have picked that. If they had the team of last year and everyone stayed fit, like who would to expect that? Like they've been banged up with a lot of injuries. Having Coleman go out in the second quarter, that just instantly they're just like, fuck, we're just trying to throw different guys through him. And I know it's not one player, but then they had more after that. So
I'm pretty sure they're getting Ashcroft back soon, which would be good to see him play 10 games to finish this season and just be like, reassure Lions fans like, nah, this kid is him. It's going to be good to have him.
As you mentioned with Jack Ginnivan, I love that Sam Mitchell's message has been the same the whole year, how he said, I want my half forwards to get up the ground enough that they can potentially get 20 to 25 disposals, but be close enough to goal that they can kick 2 or 3.
Yeah.
So that's exactly his role. Because you see, I'm not sure if the Collingwood fans noticed or whether how much he did that role for them, but watching the Hawks this year, he runs his tail off.
Yeah, he really does. He
runs
works
his
fucking hard.
tail off.
And
And
apparently
apparently,
in preseason running.
apparently he
session
was
with
one
him.
of the better runners at their in preseason. Like everyone said that he was instantly felt like a leader around the club. Not only because of his age, but because of the finals experience, the big game experience. All the players look up to him, and I definitely wanted to show that I actually have a little bit in the tank, and I've got some wheels. So, no, they're very excited. Hawks are a danger side now for the rest of the year. So, if you play them, you might get a hold of them, you might beat them by 50.
Yeah.
But you might just if they get their tails wagging.
They're super confident. That midfield, we all knew it, but they just weren't showing it. But that midfield of Newcomb, Day, Warple, Dylan Moore goes to there. Oh, God, I love Dylan Moore. Connor Nash. The guys that roll through there, they're going to be good. I fucking love Cole Shadir as well. He can play. He got subbed off. He was a bit stiff.
He has the last 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So he's got subbed up. But you know who else is going to be an absolute gun when he fixes up his kicking? Connor McDonald.
Yep.
He runs so hard and gets to so many good positions. He missed that goal against Port in the last quarter last week that would have sealed it. They were about 26 points up last quarter, hit the post, and then the pressure started coming the other way. What do you have today? 17, 1 goal, 2. If he cleans some of that, because he gets to the best spots, and any Hawks fans will probably agree, they think he's got all the tools. It's just a little bit more experience and keep playing him, and I'm sure he's really going to turn that around. But Jev, some of the markets, so turn back the clock. Jack Gunston, him and his family are eating well tonight.
Let me predict it. I'm going to go 34 to 1 for 4, 16 to 1 for 3. What was it?
For 3, 10.50.
Yeah.
For 4, 34.
Yeah, nice.
On the dot. Marby Old Chol for 3 was actually still pretty short, to be honest. It was 5.80.
That's how he can play some bad games. Kyle Oman for 2. He can fucking play. I reckon you're getting double figures for him.
Yeah, 360.
360, yeah. Because I had a bet on him anytime. I think it was $1.80 anytime. If they're playing a Saturday game, I'm having Loman in the 100K for an anytime. He can play. I was so impressed with him.
Oh, here we go. Cole Shadir, he kicked 2, didn't he?
Yep.
This is unbelievable. He's 480.
Yeah, so I texted to you and then I posted in the Discord. He was the one that stood out to me
for a few.
Numbers, just his numbers. So 450 for 2, he was 14 to 1 for 3 and 61 to 1 for 4. 61 for 1 for 4 when he's kicked 2. Yeah, I'm just like, geez, they're nice odds. He's kicked his 2. He doesn't get subbed out. He might have popped up for his 3rd. And then it's if you kick 3, you can kick a 4th. So,
especially with Gunston taking the number 1, then you got Chelsea, you got Harris Andrews, and then whoever else. So he's definitely taking the 3rd. Who? Starcevic? Was he even playing? I don't know.
Yeah.
Is he playing
he's still injured.
Yeah, fucking on it. Like Darcy Wilmot, is he playing on him? I don't know, because Colchester is pretty big.
So then disposals. There wasn't much for disposal. Maybe Ginnivan 20, Sicily 25 is back. That's probably it, really.
Jack Ginnivan for 20. They're not even. Yeah, they are $13.
Yeah, Jack Ginnivan 20 was 13 to 1.
Yep.
Wow.
No. So 425. Sorry, that was the wrong one. 425, 13 for 25. That would have been huge.
Even 425 is nice. The way he played, he was really good. If I'm a Hawk supporter, I don't know if they're going to be as good as these two, but Connor McDonald and Cam McKenzie, they're in the perfect team where they've got no expectations on the Hawks, but they're going to play senior footy every week. So if I'm a Hawk supporter, I'm going to be there's our Chad Warner and Errol Goulden right there. They're going to play 50 games before we're even good, sort of thing. And they're going to have 50 games when we start becoming good. So just keep playing them every week. Good win by the Hawks. Yeah, the Lions, they're in trouble. So they're 100%. On Brisbane are on 18 points after the draw. Hawks are on 16, 4 wins. So they're going about as well as each other. You just would have thought Brisbane just rocked up and win, but they just didn't.
Nope.
Next game. This game was boring as batshit because the Saints are arguably the worst team in the competition. They fucking stink. Melbourne or Nam get it done by 38 points. They were just too good. Did you watch much of this boring game, Das?
Yeah, I watched most of the second half and bits and pieces of the first half. So Belly messaged me personally, a chat with me and Dickie. I think he had a chat with me and you, another chat individually texting everyone. He's hurting, and I know Belly's listening. I know he's hurting, and he's like, mate, get me on the pod. I said, send me a voice memo. He didn't, because I was happy to put it into the microphone. So Belly, next week, if the Saints get done again, voice record. Oh, we actually probably should have said that. Send in your best voice records on the DM. We'll listen to them. We'll play a few through, because what do you do? Like, I would be so annoyed. Like, the fact that, like, Stephen May has almost kicked more than most to your side.
Oh,
And he went
God.
forward. Like, you've got a defender. I thought I had bet of the millennium. I was like, Melbourne win, Petrarca's kicking a goal, and Petrarca's getting 25.
Yeah, I disagreed with this one, but yeah, go.
Yeah, 24. I just thought in the midfield, and he was thereabouts. I thought he got one late to Cozzy. I saluted. Thought there would be a count back. There wasn't, but he dominated. You just think when
he got
when
tagged too. Liam Stocker went to him, and gee, you just got to give Petrarca credit. Like, quietish first half, and then he just worked him into it, and he just worked so hard. He didn't worry about the tag. He didn't whinge to the umpires. He just fucking works his ass off, and he starts manhandling his tagger a bit. Remember that clip against the Blues when he was trying to win the game, and he threw Nick Newman like he was a trash bag getting into the trash. He started doing that to Stocker a bit. He goes, you want to stand on me? I'm just going to beat you up. I don't give a fuck. And he just worked him over.
So
just beat him.
So I got a question. So when most teams get after Gorn, they've been shown that they can get a win.
Yeah.
Or like it definitely imposes the game a lot more. I thought Rowan Marshall's, like, we love him.
Yeah.
He just got bullied. He just got
he got a good old fashioned ass whooping. Like, Pat Dangerfield and Tim Watson were on commentary. And they're like, Rowan Marshall's tried pretty hard today, but Max Gawn has just taken him to school, basically. They reckon. So Rowan Marshall had 30 and 30 the last 2 weeks.
He has.
He has had...
He had 13.
13. And how many hit-outs he had? He only had 16 hit-outs to Gawn's 34. And Gawn's the highest-rated player on the ground again. So I swear every Melbourne game, Gawn is the highest-rated player on the ground.
So
1 goal, 27 touches. He gave Rowan Marshall a squeaky clean scrub bath with a sponge.
So Rowan Marshall had 3 touches till halftime. He had 4 at 3 in the third quarter, and in the last quarter he had 6. And on the commentary they're like, yeah, Rowan Marshall's starting to pop up now, but do not read into this. These are not touches.
It was a bloodbath. And then I thought Clary cost me. So Das, this morning I had a $50 bonus bet from last night. I'm like, I wasn't depositing any more money. I only had a $50, so I'm just like, I'll just have a multi over all 3 games, right? Brisbane Hawthorn game 1. It was 100-1 the multi I outlaid. I had the whole $50 bonus bet on it. It was a $5,000 return. I had Clary for 25. He only had 24. And then my West Coast Adelaide leg started well. And I'm like, oh my God, $5,000 is going to be 1 possession. And I had 83 punters on it on my feed. And the only losing leg in the end was Clary and Jake Waterman for 1 and Liam Ryan for 1.
Jake Waterman kick 1?
Yeah, I need him for 1 more. Jake Waterman 2.
Gotcha.
Jake Waterman 2. Liam Ryan 1, and he kicked a point in the first quarter, and then Clary 1 touch. Fuck. I thought Clary cost me $5,000.
All right, so what we're going to do is, how are we fixing the Saints? Just quickly. So,
start by getting LDU.
And, no, like this season.
Oh, this season.
So this season, how about we unshackle the boys?
Righto.
So let's just in return, rather than fucking around with it and then trying to methodically bring it up the ground, get a turnover and we get scored on anyway. How about we just try and bring in a little bit of north ball for the first half of games?
Right.
Let's just go slingshot because you know that they train defensively. How about let's try and get some fans in, guys? Guess what? We're going to try and kick 90 points in the first half this week. Come down,
Right. We're going to kick 90 or concede 90.
It might be 90 to 90, but it's going to be that at halftime. Let's get some bums on seat. Let's just try and play as fast as we can, and let's see how much scoreboard pressure we can put on.
Yeah. So you don't so you still play Cal Wilkie. And you still played Cal Wilkie, Dougal Howard, Josh Battle. They're the only three players on the Saints that defend. They can be the only ones that stay home in the back half of the ground. Every other player has to attack. So drop Jimmy Webster.
Yep.
And bring in Philippou and put him across halfback and say, as soon as we win the ball, fucking you're kicking a snag. They've named Liam Stocker at centre halfback, Jimmy Webster at halfback. They've got and Riley Bonner in their side. So Paddy Dow stays in. I don't know much about Lance Clyde. It's good to see the tip rat Higgins back. But Windhager, and Ross just feel like tagging midfielders to me.
Yeah, so you put one of them on the opposition's best player.
Darcy Wilson gets on ball.
Yeah, so play one of them as a Stevie Baker, get suspended. That's fine. We need a bit of just start pinching elbows, do whatever you want. And we're going to try and kick 90 points and a half.
Yeah, I love it.
That's it. We don't stink.
Has Ross lost the players?
I reckon.
Or is his game plan too?
I just think his mannerisms seem so funny every single press conference. It's like he's not cracking the shits, then he is, then he's calm. I don't know. I think he's extremely frustrated and he knows the cameras are on him.
Is his game plan too detailed and too hard to follow, and he sort of lost the players now they're losing? Because remember last year, credit to the Saints, they were awesome last year, and they played in the final, and it was a bit much for them, and they played against the red hot GWS. But everyone's, and then David King in the offseason's like, you want to know the team's going to jump into the four? It's going to be the Saints. And now I'm looking at them going, they got the list I thought it was, but I got sucked into Kingy as well. And now I'm just like, has Ross lost the players because they fucking stink, or is it just the talent? They just do not have the talent on the park because they don't. They lack so much talent. I don't know if you saw on SEN, they were talking about who's the guy at your club? Who's the guy? So Harley Reid's the guy. Nick Dacos is the guy. We're building around this guy. They're like, Carlton have 3 or 4 guys. The Swans have 3 or 4 guys. Lockie Neal's the guy with Harris Andrews. I know they're the captain. Zach Butters is the guy, and Connor Rosie and Jake, but Zach Butters is the guy. Who is the guy down at St Kilda? They don't really have one, do they? Who's jump on my back guy, I'm winning us this game. Pat Dangerfield does sometimes. He still does it, how old he is.
Well, that's what we all thought.
He did it against the Saints, sorry.
That's what we all thought Jack Steele was going to be when he came over. And he had a couple of really nice seasons, all Australians, and then it's just
and Max King, it just doesn't look like it means anything to him. Cal Wilkie's half the play he was last year. Jack Sinclair's a good play. He just started the year a bit injured. And it's he looks a lot better when they're a winning side. We like Wangani Malira. I love Mitch Owens. Is it time to Mitch Owens, you're just a midfielder? And he's the guy. Is he the guy? He's so competitive.
As a crack, I reckon, and in a contest if he has to, why don't you just put Max King as a fucking fullback and put Wilkie full forward?
You like Wilkie, or you wouldn't mind saying it? Leave him at the same end.
But that way, just get Max King. He's an almost marker. Well, he don't have to mark now. He just has to fucking spoil.
Try and leave him loose across halfback. See if he can take 25 marks in a game. Take 15 marks across halfback. Get
the accountant up for full forward, just trying to fucking calculate where he needs to run, what space is open.
Beep.
Why not?
It's fair.
They've got to do something.
So that guy, our man Lynchy. So he's a Collingwood supporter.
Is he? I thought he was a Saints supporter.
No, he's a Collingwood supporter. He's financially invested in the Swans this year. He's got all his cash on the Swans to win the flag, so he messed with me a lot. But number one, he's a Saints hater, and he hates the Saints.
Oh,
and he's the one that's sent us saying, can the roast just be the Saints? And it's ripping him. So I don't want to go – we've given him a bit of a bake here. If there's anything we've missed, Lynchy, feel free to say. But to be fair, they've won absolutely fuck all, and they carry on a bit, the Saints supporters.
It'd be a really fun task if we went through in the off season and for every team, this would take us ages, and write down what we think each player should be worth.
Oh yeah, a point system.
Yeah, you're like how much money? Like how much money is this player worth?
Right.
And obviously each club has a certain amount of salary cap, but we can look through it. It's like where all these Swans players are, this team is worth like $15 million.
Yeah, if it was like a super coach team where your team goes up in value.
Oh, there you go. That'd be the best way to do it. We'll just go off that and we'll see where the Saints are at.
Yeah.
Like every team's got the same amount of money, but what are the Saints worth?
Yeah.
What are North worth?
Yeah.
Like I'm going to do that actually. I'm going to go through and just add them all up tomorrow.
The Saints, so our Leggy off camera, he's a mad Saints supporter, but he's got connections. He's in the corporate world. He's a big dog. So LDU went to Hailbury. Luke Davies-Uniacke went to Hailbury with Liam Stocker, Max King. I think there's one other in the Saints side. No, they all went to Hailbury together. Cody Waitman was in that side. Ben King was in that side. Anyway,
Brayshaw was in that side.
Yeah, Brayshaw was in that side. Andrew Brayshaw. So they're all into LDU's year. So Saints supporters think they're getting Luke Davies-Uniacke, which is Kingy spoken about it. He goes, one guy can change your clearance profile. So Pat Dangerfield came into Geelong and changed Geelong because they started winning more clearances just by having him on the ground. And then if he got tagged, everyone else got better. Lachie Neale went to Brisbane and changed their clearance profile. So can it just be one A grade? Chris Judd walked into Carlton, changed Carlton. But we're not comparing LDU to Chris Judd. But can LDU come across where they've got a heap of B graders on their side and be the one A grader like Jordan Dawson did at the Crows? Jordan Dawson changed the Crows. He became their one classy A grader. And then rising tides lifts all ships. He lifted everyone around him. Yes, can LDU be that guy that comes across and just lifts every other player around there and then Steele becomes the two to LDU, but he's one of the best twos in the league. And then Sinclair is back to halfback where he's the best halfback in the league. Then he's got Wanganeen Malira who can be the second best halfback, like the best number 2 halfback in the league. Mitch Owens, like all this stuff. Just this one player comes in and changes everything. Can that fix the Saints?
Well, you had to look at even in Harley Reid. If someone comes in with good, with a little bit more, hey, this is the standard now.
Yeah.
It's what happens. So
the only thing I'd worry about is it's LDU coming from a losing culture, going to a losing culture. Like LDU needs to go to somewhere that wins, but a crap right now. Somewhere that knows how to win, but a crap right now. And then, they bring together. But anyway.
You know what though? Melbourne were really good for a few years. Then they got spanked in that prelim to West Coast. And then they didn't make finals the next year. And then they came on the flag the year after.
Yeah, true.
So sometimes it looks like, and Collingwood were thereabouts, and then they finished 4th last.
Yeah.
And then they made prelim and grand final.
Yeah, true. Daniel Hoyne speaks about that. He goes, you could see that Melbourne premiership coming because they got their last 10 games of the season right. He goes, if you actually watch their last 10 games when they missed finals that year, it's like you could see it coming. They just fixed their defensive profile, fixed what they wanted to look like, and then they went and hunted on the premiership. So you just want to see the Saints just show a bit, but they fucking suck.
All right, so we'll go through some odds quickly. Max King for 3 goals was $3.80. Van Ruin for 3 goals was $8.
That's nice.
Bailey Fritsch for 2, which is short, $1.50.
He just kicks 2. Both on his right foot.
Jack Viney,
he was good. He got a big corky. Oh my God, one of those ones. He's tough. That would have put me in a hospital bed.
Corky watch. We'll put him on there.
Corky. Who else on it? Wiedering and someone else. You said someone else got a corky.
Oh, Hugo Ralph Smith.
Corky watch. That is fucking good.
Just seeing the blokes just trying to get rid of it. Jack Viney was $9 for 2 and some. Let's look at some touches.
There's got to be some odds. So Stephen May had 25. Adam Tomlinson had 25.
And Tomlinson was $19 for 25.
Wow.
What was Max Gawn? What did he have?
25, 1 goal and 25. He gave Rowan Marshall a squeaky clean bubble.
Stephen May was 360 for 25, which is pretty short. Max Gawn was 450.
It's nice. And then Wanganeen, Malira, Sinclair and Steele all for 30 and Salem for 30.
Sinclair for 30, 245. Nasai Wanganeen Malira, 280. Who else did you say? Jack Steele?
Yep.
410.
It's not bad. Yeah, that's really it.
And that's about it. So, Melbourne, great win. Probably didn't touch on you guys enough. And the Saints, you guys are absolute hogs wash. If you guys lose next week, who the fuck you got next week?
West Coast to West Coast, because Bally, our man, texted saying it's West Coast in Perth. He goes, we play West Coast in Perth next week, and that's going to do me like final straw. He'll crack it. And then he sent me a photo of his mum commenting on Facebook posts. Sandringham could play better than this group. So just a couple of Saints tragics, heartbreaking.
After every game, he sends me what Julie posts on the Saints page. She just pots him. So shout out to Julie. Absolutely love you. You're an absolute guy.
And Melbourne just needed that win after they got embarrassed a bit by the kid in Perth last week. There's a trend. If Harley Reid embarrasses you, the next week, everyone plays well and they win. Freo did it. They got embarrassed on the derby and they came back and won the next week, and Melbourne did it. So when Harley Reid has a big game and West Coast beat you, they bet you win the next week. Final game, I did not see 1 millisecond of this game. I had my in-laws over for dinner. I had to cook. I had to entertain. So the Crows get it done by 99 points. I was updated on the score and it was like 50-6 at one stage. It was game over quickly. Talk to me.
Didn't see a lick of it, but I was keeping track and I was watching some highlights. A little thing, we were talking about goal kickers. Who do we put in for this last game? I joked the other night off camera, how about we put Chase Jones in?
Oh, I like that.
He kicked 3. That was a joke. But I do want to say, and a lot of people in the comments, I get it. If you're a Crows fan, you're listening in, the Crows are up by 50 points, 60 points, 80 points, 90 points. They end up winning by 99. And the only thing the AFL was posting was Harley Reid highlights.
Oh, true.
And they were getting so angry. They're like, we're literally winning by 90 points.
Don't worry about what the kid's doing.
He took a hanger.
Did he take him? I haven't seen anything. He take Big Mark. I just seen him. Oh, no.
Jev. No, the hanger's not huge. Wait till you see what he does to Rochelle.
No, I've seen that. That is embarrassing. Like, Rochelle got a family, man. Like, he's got kids. Oh, he doesn't have kids, poor bloke.
Jev, I'm not a player basher, but I want to know what's going to hurt worse.
When he ducked his head?
Or the Harley Reid.
No, that highlight is so embarrassing. He's like on the ground. He's like drowning him, sort of thing. Like, down you go. Rochelle was so shattered. He was left on the ground reaching for him. Oh, that's a shocker. If you're Rochelle's mate, you send that to him, and he's just like,
you see, he got up. He knew the cameras were on him. He's like this.
Oh, that would have stung. Like, you're up by 100 points, you're pumping him, and you're just standing on the mark, and Harley's just run around you and put you into the dirt. Oh, that one felt a bit personal, nearly.
It was like a choke slam, like a suplex. Like, just literally just put him in the dirt and said, "There you go." Oh.
The Crows filled their boots, didn't they? Jeez, Jordan Dawson. It's Pyramid Week, Das. It's got to be time, doesn't it?
3 votes.
I think he's been too good. He's been so fucking good lately.
So
I want to get him back in.
Yeah, and the Crows are only 2 games out. So the Crows' start of the year has killed them, those couple of short wins. So because they feel they're probably where they are, like, meant to be. They feel like on the cusp of the 8.
Yeah.
We thought that they would improve a little bit. I came out at the start of the year and said that I think Dawson and Laird together would be like a top 2, top 3 duo. What it is, it's Dawson and then whoever else is going to come with him on that game.
Everyone else.
If it's Rankin, if it's Saligo, if it's Laird, he's a Crouch.
So just Lockie Scholes had 34.
Yes. So he's definitely the one that's like, boys, come with me. We're going on a ride. And he's just within the first quarter. What was it? I was checking the score because it was on the box on the side. It was 7-4 to 2 points at quarter time.
Yeah. It was
It's what they can. It's what they can do to you at home.
Yeah.
And it's funny. So the West Coast bubble, it's just like, oh my God, we're starting to win games. And this is the West Coast we imagine this year. And it's just like, all right, we're coming back to earth a little bit. It's a long flight.
I don't know how this happens though. I think it's when West Coast get beaten up in centre clearances and stuff. Because I saw Jordan Dawson had 5 touches and a goal within like 2 minutes. And it's like if he's getting his hand on at centre bounces and West Coast aren't, they just get left hanging high to dry.
So it was 37 to 35 clearances.
Right.
For the game. As I said, I didn't watch it, so I don't really know, but the time in front was every single second.
Right, yeah, it was just a flogging. It would have been so good to be in an Adelaide Oval, just 100-point flogging when you're at the game and your team just doesn't even look like losing is just great.
But for everyone in our group chats, they were just saying Harley's just having a crack.
Yeah, they were saying he's fucking dominating. Just no one's come with him. They're starting to torch him, so I didn't see any of it.
All right, so let's go through some odds and let's get out of here. But let's have a look at...
Let's go disposals first because I want to add up all the Adelaide players for just an any time.
Oh, no.
You haven't screenshotted it?
No, I did, but just not the disposals.
All right, let's just go goals then.
Fuck.
Right. So Chase Jones for 3.
No, couldn't get him.
Could you get him for anything?
Yeah, for 2 goals at $14.
Oh, that's nice. Text to Jordan Dawson 2.
Jordan Dawson 380.
Nice. Ben Keys 2. He's usually about $3. Rochelle 2. B Cook 2. Fogarty 2.
Yeah, they're all pretty short.
All right. Can you just get up anytime? Just all the anytime goal scorers.
Yep.
All right. I'm getting a calculator out here. All right. So you got Chase Jones.
$3.
For an anytime.
Yep.
Righto. Tex.
$1.04.
Short. Righto. Tex. Dawson.
$1.55.
Keys Rochelle.
Keys $1.21. Rochelle $1.19.
Yep. Cook Fogarty Burgess.
No Cook. Fogarty is $1.10 and Burgess is $1.33. Actually, no, Cook is there, sorry. He's $1.55.
Riley O'Brien, Lockie Murphy.
$1.61, Lockie Murphy. You say Riley O'Brien. $4.60.
Nice. Here we go. Then Schoenberg, Scholl, and Saligo.
Scholl's $1.73.
Yep.
Saligo's $3.60.
He can fucking play. Why did he get subbed off? He must get injured. I don't even know.
Yeah. And you can't get Schoenberg.
Righto. So if you had all the Adelaide goal kickers in a multi-dash, you got 750 to 1. Awesome. Just for any time. Just stacked them all up any time. That probably would have been every player. God, that would have been nice.
So next time, we're not doing the Saints because they're playing West Coast. So the next game West Coast play away is...
Let's take some any time.
North, no. That's at home. Then they got the bye. What about round 15? Blues?
The Blues are on Thursday night this week, Das.
I know. I'm doing night shift. I'm
Oh,
shattered.
no way. Just an early look at the 100K. So we've got Suns Essendon in Gold Coast the last game Sunday. There's buys this week, so it's a hard one. See, like Melbourne Freo on a Sunday isn't a good game. In Alice Springs.
Oh,
it's going to be a tough 100K week.
No, you know who we're backing?
Cozzy Pickett. He kicks 2 there every single time.
He kicked like 6 against Port Adelaide 2 years ago.
Yeah, that's right. I remember that.
It's the Cozzy Pickett game.
He played GWS last year. Remember how good GWS were there last year? They got the job done. Yeah, that started their season. All right, that's the roast.
All right, hey, so time stamping this. So we finished the first bit at about 11:30. This is currently 9:30. It's been a road. We're getting longer and longer. This is an hour and 40. I don't know who's listening
Yeah,
this long.
I wonder if people actually still listen to the hour 40.
You
If
guys
you
want
are,
it longer or shorter?
yeah, do you want to? Yeah, just leave us a date. If you actually listen to this whole thing, if you watch it on YouTube, I'm sorry. It would be tough to watch. But if you're still listening, leave us a DM or saying, I'm still listening and I could have kept listening. But we can't go this long. We try and aim for about an hour, maybe a little bit over an hour. But we spoke about the Swans for about 20 minutes, so that was my fault. Anyway, see you, bros.
Oh, no, mate.
Peace.